Good Wednesday morning and welcome to Pittsburgh Today Live. I'm Rick Dayton in for Christine Sorensen. You know what, maybe the first day of fall, at least 51 minutes of fall today. We're still using up the last of summer's bounty. We're in the garden today and in the kitchen at the same time, using the kitchen to cook with Raina, turning carrots and zucchini into fresh homemade cakes. When she's here, you know it's going to be a special treat because all sorts of great things come out of that Cuisinart mixture that she's got over there today. Raina, looking forward to visiting with you in there in a little bit. Also talking about food that is certainly fuel for runners. UPMC dietitian Leslie Ponce is here, especially in a timely fashion because thousands of runners, 14,000 to be exact, here in Pittsburgh, getting set for the great race, which comes up this weekend. It is sold out, in case you're wondering. And if your house is on the market but not receiving the kind of offers you like, maybe it's time for some changes. There are some simple things, painting the cabinets, doing some work here that these homeowners did to transfer this kitchen into something that is absolutely glorious. It goes from being dark and dingy with wallpaper that's dated into something brand new and glorious. We'll show you the difference in terms of what it looks like when it's all done. Can you believe that's the same kitchen? Tile backsplash, you've got some new faucets there, different hardware. It really looks like a whole different place. Some professional staging tips coming up for you later on this hour. That will be a lot of fun as well. How many of you have ever wondered about starting your own business? You thought about it, but not necessarily been able to act on that idea. Well, our first guest wants to help. She's created a workbook. It is called From Intuition to Entrepreneurship, a woman's guide to following her dream. Such a powerful tool. It certainly will be given out at this year's Governor's Conference for Women. It's in Pittsburgh next month. Everybody who goes there gets a copy of it. Barbara Schwarck is a global executive. She's a coach, president of Clear Intentions International, and co-author of a 10-step guide that helps you to start your dream business. Barbara, it is so great to have you here.
Thank you, Rick.
Good morning.
Good morning.
The thing that is interesting about this book is you look at it and you say, hey, I can get through that. It's not such a big thing.
Exactly.
It's not so 10 steps. That seems pretty simple to me. But what I love about it is it really is a workbook that as you're going through, you've left lines in here to jot down ideas, to come up with different things that you add to what you have written. Cognizant, I mean, that was a conscious decision on your part.
Absolutely. We wanted to have a journal at the same time that was part of the book. And so as people go through the steps, they have the opportunity to jot down things that come into their mind. And so it was designed with that in mind. Have
you gone through the process of starting your own business?
I have. I actually am on my second business.
Really?
I came here from Germany 20-some years ago and started out having a painting business for a few years while I was in college.
Painting houses?
Painting houses,
okay.
Believe it or not.
Yeah?
Interior, exterior.
Right. And
then I moved to creating an executive coaching firm about 11 years ago. So.
Okay. The thing about the book, and there's so many things we could talk about because I really love it. The first thing I want to do is I want to go to page 29 here, where it talks about a litmus test. And basically, we're saying, what is it that we do? How do we put it to the test? Is this a good idea? Is this something we need to work on? But there's a quote here that says, we choose our joys and sorrows long before we experience them. You start many of these chapters with great quotes like that one, that in the back of your mind, you know what makes you happy, you know what makes you sad. I mean, is that sort of what you're getting at with that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we do know, and sometimes we don't take the time to actually find out, what do you want? So when somebody comes to me, I ask them, why do you want to start a business? What's your goal? Does the idea of starting a business actually serve the kind of goal that you have? Who are you? What are your visions and values about yourself? And we're too quick. You know, we live in a society where everything is fast, fast, fast. And when we do something important like that, we need to really take a look and find out if that's appropriate for us.
And sometimes it's a matter of balance. I mean, you use an illustration in the book of a tripod. It has 3 legs. If one is too short, the whole thing falls over. It topples.
Absolutely.
How do you do that with your business, though?
Well, we look at the conscious and then the unconscious wants and needs that we have, and we make sure that there's alignment. And if something inside, you know, like a blind spot that we missed, just like you're driving a car, if you don't see the person in the blind spot, you know, you put yourself in danger to have an accident.
Right.
And so in a business, we want to look at all those elements to make sure that you're balanced.
Is it a matter of talking to other people sometimes? I mean, can they see things that we've got our blinders on and we can't?
Sure. I mean, you know that. We can never really see our own problems, but as soon as we talk to somebody else, it becomes obvious. And so in the dialogue, in the coaching, in the journaling, people get some information about themselves that is really helpful.
So there is a conscious side, there's an unconscious side of things. There are some tests that you can do, but there also are myths out there. So many myths. I mean, you hear the statistics, and these are not myths, about the number of new businesses that fail.
Right.
It happens on a regular basis. How do you dispel some of those myths? Hey, it's going to be really hard work. Don't go into business with your friends.
Right.
How do you do those sorts of things? How do you debunk those, or are they true?
Well, it really depends on who you are. So some people will say, you know, this is a myth, and somebody will say this is really true, you know, based on their experience. So the first step is always to create an awareness and know what runs you. So if you're afraid of starting a business with your friend, or you come from a consciousness of lack, once you have become that awareness, you can actually do something about it. Where it becomes dangerous or could derail us when we don't acknowledge what's really going on. You know, if I'm a quarterback and I'm afraid to go out on the field, I better be taking that fear seriously and say, I'm going to look at it and deal with it, and
right.
so that I can remove it.
You can't ignore those sorts of things.
No, absolutely not.
I'm going to try to paraphrase something here that came from the book, and there's the old adage that, you know, if I'm doing what I love, well, then I'm going to be good at it.
Right.
Whereas your point is, if I'm doing what I love, at least I'm doing what I love, and there's a big difference there.
There's a big difference. So I was really good as a painter. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's what I'm supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. And so we want to have an alignment between what we're good at, what we love, and what's actually a viable business idea.
And it doesn't have to be something you do for the rest of your life.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
We are really living in a time where many of us are going to have more than one profession, one calling, you know, so. Sort
of phases or stages of your business plan or life plan.
Right, 40 years of being in the same job are kind of coming to an end.
Right. This is interesting because I think, while it is a book that talks about intuition and entrepreneurship, The Woman's Guide to Following Your Dream is also sort of a life coaching book, I found as well. That even if you're not thinking about starting your own business, there's a lot of things in here that you can say, hey, let's put that into action.
Absolutely. You can take the steps and use it for anything in your life, whether it's a business or whether it's a relationship, or actually if you're in business and you are heading up a big department, you can use that in order to get some more clarity.
Perfect. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We certainly appreciate your perspective on this. Some really neat ideas, Barbara. It's a really great little book called From Intuition to Entrepreneurship. It's a workbook that is helping women to follow their dream and help them get into business. And gentlemen, it'll work for you too. It's not just for ladies. Barbara Schwarck, William Wheel are here to talk a little bit about that. That's been given to all the participants again at the Governor's Conference for Women, which comes up next month in Pittsburgh. You can find it online. And how about this? Barbara kind enough to give away 5 copies today. As Pittsburgh Today Live viewers will get an opportunity to do that. The first 5 callers right now, 412-333-9357. 412-333-9357. Have a chance to take home. We'll send you a copy of the book. Barbara, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Well, registration for the Great Race, it's officially closed.